It is Sunday night, and we're starting 4 minutes late. Sorry, but for all of you who showed up, you got to hear some stories.
There were some bonus stories. And honestly, it's not even about selling anything. It's about sharing your story, sharing your life. And what I absolutely love is there are so many people who are legitimately taking inspired action all over the world. So my name is Steve. This is my beautiful wife, Stephanie. If we haven't met in person, I apologize. But hopefully
we'll meet you in Dallas.
At Keto Academy and more.
If you're not coming, you should be.
And that's something we're going to be talking about towards the end. But we've got a really fun call, and you're going to be hearing from some really awesome friends of ours. And
not just us, I promise.
Really, there's a few things that we want to touch on. We want to talk about the power of community and some things that we really experienced and saw when we went down to Arizona last week, or just a couple days ago. We want to talk about global perspective because it was probably
a week ago. Last week.
We were in Hong Kong, and we haven't even really shared that story and some of our key takeaways and distinctions, and really how each and every one of us can start building in the Hong Kong market, what that could look like. You're going to be hearing directly from someone who's been on the road. What does community-based marketing mean for those that are on the road, and what's shaking down in Texas? And you know what? Who doesn't like to know how to set goals?
Goal setting.
Goal setting is important in everything that you do in life, in your Prove It business, in your fitness journey, in just every aspect of life, in your marriage, parenting your kids. Like, everything should have a goal that's tied to it. And you know what? Because it's reboot season, we got a few more days of the reboot. We figured, why not talk a little bit about that, and then showing up. And what does 90% of life showing up really mean to the events?
It means you get to hear extra stories.
And this is going to be fun.
So we're going to recap global perspective real quick. We're going to talk about Hong Kong. We got to go and speak. It threw us for a loop because Brian actually couldn't come with us because Nancy's grandma died. So I would say our AQ was tested to the max. We got 100%. To be on stage for a bazillion hours. It grew us. It was a lot of fun. It was unexpected. This is what we learned from Hong Kong. First of all, it allowed us to see like the world is so much bigger than your small little bubble that you might feel like you're in, and it's so much smaller than you think. We got to learn from Lisa Grossman and Curtis, who really opened up the Hong Kong Chinese market. And they said the biggest thing that you could do is, Brian always says, you grow in your backyard, right? We talked about getting into your communities, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But what they also said is this. Oftentimes people go, oh my goodness, why is it freezing? Oh, we're opened up in Canada. I don't have a team in Canada. I'm opened up in Australia. And they go like, I need to go meet somebody.
It was freezing because you were talking about Canada.
Oh, huh. It's kind of funny. It's not very good. Okay, anyways, if we freeze, I'm sorry. So he said, if you don't know anybody in Hong Kong, don't get frustrated that you don't have a team there. My lips are moving slow. But he goes, there are so many people here in the United States and in Canada and in other parts of this United States that might have influence over there. So for instance, if you're getting your nails done, if there's an entire Chinese town in California, he just said this, the Hong Kong, Prove It headquarters is phenomenal. They are set up to solely assist us if you do know anybody in that spot. They've got rooms and teams, and they're like, we'll dig into anybody that you have over here. Just send them our way. So if you know somebody over there, if you build somebody in your local market, they said the United States is untapped for the Chinese market. That's it. Go build there, and it will build your global team.
So give us some examples of so I don't know anybody in Hong Kong up until about 10 days ago.
Right.
So now spending some time with Lisa and Curtis, what is that? Let's see. Can everybody hear us all right? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. There was a moment. Here's what I learned.
Yes.
Prover tip, if you're doing a Zoom, do not have 47 windows open between two different browsers. I'm guilty of that all the time. So if there was a delay, if there was pauses, I closed all my windows. What was on them was very important, but I will figure that out later. So hopefully y'all can hear us. But here's kind of what we're talking about. I didn't know anybody in Hong Kong 10 days ago.
Right.
And now fast forward to where we're at today, I know this. I know that there is an entire team who is willing to assist and serve you 100%. What does that mean? They have translators. They have graphic designs. They have meeting rooms, multiple meeting rooms for small huddle-ups, masterminds, and then for giant mixers and everything in between. I also know this. They are absolutely fired up about charging the market. So there's another event coming up, the Hong Kong Charge event. It's in September, or sorry, take that back. It's in October. And it gives you a perfect amount of time to find 1 or 2 people to invite to that event. So how would you do that? There are a lot of people who are bilingual who are living here in the United States. I don't think this is going to come across as a bad statement, but what Lisa and Curtis told us is that a lot of people from China move over to the United States and they go into one of 2 fields. The first is massage therapy, and the second is salons, like nail salons, specifically nail salons. And so a lot of people are, I'll say this, like I've never met a culture that is so hardworking, like living in the here and the now, focused on hard work and the betterment, not just for themselves, but for their family, for their kids, for their community. Like, I mean, we walked all over the place. Never once did I ever feel unsafe. Never once did I ever feel like something bad was going to happen. And let's see if I can mute. Hey, whoever, let's see, got it. All right. So apologize. I would just say this, like, it's a market that's ready and it's a market that's willing. Like, think about that. They have a place specifically set up and there's people who are having success. So I'm just going to encourage you, start just asking, just ask your friends, ask the people who've already joined you on this ketone conversation. Yeah. And ask them, hey, do you by any chance know anybody who lives in Asia? And you might just be surprised where those connections, where those conversations can go. It's so fun. We had a friend today who actually met somebody in, was it like a nail salon or someplace? Yeah. So I'm not going to give away names or anything, but here's what's funny. You can think, oh, because we had just been talking to her about how fired up the Asian market is. And the first thing that you could immediately jump to is, oh, then they'd be a perfect promoter. They need to be a promoter. Right. No. Remember.
You still do the same thing.
Watch, connect, and roll.
What do you know about ketones and ketosis? Watch, connect, and roll. They have to love the product. I'm just saying, if you know anybody in that market, Curtis, Lisa, everybody over there, they've got a phenomenal setup. The Pruvers headquarters, amazing, and it's perfect for somebody to build. That's it. We learned a ton in Hong Kong. We loved it.
So hopefully that's an encouragement. Really, I think if anything, we just realized how big the world is, and at the same time, just how small it is at the same time.
Right. So it was good.
So that's our global perspective. I'm very grateful. And you know what? I would say this. When we got on the airplane, we're sitting on the airplane, we're going to Hong Kong. I get the text message. We were really sad and all of a sudden nervous all at the same time. And then I thought, no, not a big deal.
Because Brian wasn't going.
Yeah, because Brian wasn't going. And here we are leading an entire charge event. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's going to be fine. Lisa and Curtis, they're going to do half of it, at least. Nope. Guess who they wanted to hear from? And you know what that told me? It told me the power of third-party validation.
Yes.
So if you're just thinking that it's important to be the expert, if you think it's important to tell all of your friends and family everything that you know and become the doctor, how many, real quick show of hands, how many of you are familiar with the tale of 2 Pruvers? You've seen that? Don't be that person that's just running in place.
Right.
Watch, connect, and roll. Utilize the tools. The connection piece, I'm telling you, it doesn't always have to be a person. I love this thought. Think of this, like Anthony Simmons, he's only available 17 hours out of the day, right? But Dr. Cardin's video that kind of walks everybody through the power of ketones, that's free and it's available 24/7. Kay, you know what? She's available a lot. Maybe not as much as Anthony, but she's still available quite a bit. Well, let's just say this. The Ketone Clarity series by Dr. Ryan and Jacob Wilson, guess what? That's available 24/7 and that's also free. Get good at using the tools. Do not be the expert. Do not feel like you always have to be the mouthpiece. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 yourself. Ask people the question what they know about ketones and ketosis, and it's pretty amazing what can happen.
Yeah.
So before we kick off into goals and kick it over to our really good friend, I wanted to just talk real quickly about our most recent adventure, and that was to Arizona.
Yes.
And sometimes when you just plan stuff completely random at the last minute with 48 hours of notice and you're not even sure what's going on, sometimes one of the most important attributes, and that's urgency, what it creates is absolutely phenomenal.
Right. So we got home from Hong Kong. The next day, Steve was like, hey, do you want to go down to Arizona? And I was like, what? He goes, let's go down to Arizona. There's a team down there and let's just go and meet them because we haven't had a chance face to face. we haven't been doing a ton of traveling in the local markets. Brian Underwood has challenged us to do more of it. We have a nanny now so that we can actually leave and go do some things and connect with all of you. So we called up Chris and Danny Webb and we're like, hey, you've got a whole bunch of promoters in your area. We're going to come. How many can you get? They filled a room, 25 plus people. They had a mixer beforehand. I think 25 or 26 promoters stuck around. And we were there for 48 hours. And what we accomplished in 48 hours and what we realized, the power of stickiness, Brian talks about it all the time. That's community-based marketing. That is the power of getting in somebody's living room, hearing their why, right? Like not just on a Zoom. This is great. But when you actually get to sit with people, hear their story, you're like, and it just brings it even closer. Now, what happens if you can't travel? Because I realize that there's a lot of people that have full-time jobs. I'm not saying like you have to go across the United States. I'm saying, who do you have in your local area within drive time of an hour? Who can you go, hey, this weekend I'm free on a Saturday. Can you bring a couple people over and let's either one, collaborate if there's a couple promoters in your area, or two, let's do a mixer. Because I know we hear it all the time, but we sat in Arizona and we were like, oh my goodness, we need to do this more. Oh my goodness, this was so powerful. It was powerful to hear people's true stories of what Pruvers has done for them, how it's provided for their families. And it brought everybody together to go and to visually see everybody in that local area going, we get to do this together. And it's just going to build that stickiness even more. So we got to do that. Did you want to say anything else before Ashley pops on?
Ashley's actually she's traveling so hard. She's not connected at the moment.
Gotcha.
But I want to say this though. I mean, that urgency created a fire. Like you're probably thinking, well, I don't have 25 promoters in my local area. Guess what? Chris and Danny didn't either when they got started. They had themselves. They had a vision for what they wanted.
Right.
And I actually left a little jealous because there was a moment when we got started 3 years ago where we were meeting in a salon every single week. And we met for probably 7 weeks. And, you know, every once in a while there'd be a new person. And then
but it was about 5 to 6 of us consistently. There wasn't a lot of new people coming.
And then, well, towards the end, like just say towards weeks 5, 6, and 7, 3 weeks in, I'm like, man, nobody's showing up that's brand new. So then I thought, well, if this isn't working, I can just build online 40 times as fast than spending this time setting up for this. And what I ended up doing was I canceled something that I really truly believe if we would have kept it going, it would be something absolutely tremendous.
It would have changed our town. I mean, Brian was like, I can't believe you stopped doing that. I know, we're dumb. And we challenged Chris and Danny Webb and we said, you've got 25 promoters within your local area and more people that drove an hour or two. Like, don't stop. If you've got a local community of people, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 people, stay consistent and get together, even if it's not a mixer to mastermind, because that's going to build your belief. That's going to come even for 30 minutes, come together and like collaborate. What's working? What's not working? What do we need to do? Get together because that's what's going to build your business.
Absolutely love that. That's the key. That is the key, and that's what I did not implement. That is the key that could completely build a community-based marketing business in your local neighborhood. And that's if you get a commitment from you and one promoter. The commitment is every single week we're going to invite to this. Every single week. If we have to, we're going to go drive and pick somebody up. But do your best to get the mixer to be something that's fun, something that's lively, something that's energetic.
Yeah.
We didn't even show the campfire video, y'all. Like there were so many great conversations happening.
2 hours and
it was stories here and stories there. Like it was just so much fun.
There was new people that came. It didn't even feel like, you know, sometimes you can sit down and watch a campfire video. She was Danny was like, I'm just going to feel it out. And she said everybody that came that was brand new, had a conversation, tried the product, felt like they were ready to go. So we didn't have to. They were going to send them the video. So we just all sat around and walked all over the room and cheered. It was awesome.
Here's the key, though. In where we were at in Owatonna, Minnesota 3 years ago, the problem was we weren't getting new people there, so we stopped. What we should have done is flip the script, and we should have set better expectations, and we should have turned it into a mastermind. Even if it would have been just Stephanie, Anthony, and myself, and maybe a handful of other people, here's what I can promise you is fast forward to where we're at today. The people who were showing up every single week who maybe weren't inviting, they're still SmartShip customers, but guess what? They didn't renew their $37. They're not a promoter. They don't truly feel like they're a part of something that's bigger than themselves. So learn from us, learn from our failures, and just start. Start with you and a friend. and keep building into it. Like aggressively with grit and tenacity while you're having fun with a smile on your face. Invite people to be a part of something. Have fun. Shake up ketones. There's no science to it. Cold water, a shaker cup, and ketones. Like that's it. Have fun. And guess what? If nobody shows up, turn it into a goal setting meeting. Turn it into a mastermind. Some of you are probably thinking, how exactly do I set goals? How exactly? Like, what does that look like? If I'm brand new or if I'm 3 years in, guess what? You still need to have goals. So there's nobody else that I'd rather turn the Zoom over to than our good friend. Honestly, truly amazing lady. I mean, just a passionate wife. She's a passionate mom. She's a legend in the company. Like, she's truly a rock star. Her and Jack are unbelievable. So right now, we want to invite Mandy Mitchell to pop on the Zoom and share with us some knowledge bombs about goal setting and community.
Hi, how are you guys?
So glad you're here, Mandy.
I'm going to make you be on every Zoom that I'm ever on and say those fabulous things about me, because now I don't even know, but I feel really good. So that was cool. Well, I'm super pumped up to be on with everyone. Goal setting and setting the pace for your month is probably one of my super favorite topics. I'm kind of a headspace sort of girl, so I have to be in the right frame of mind. Like, the frame of mind that I'm in will literally dictate my success for the day, the week, the month. So I love this kind of stuff. And for those of you who've never been on a Zoom with me before, if you've never met me before, if you've never listened to a call before, I'm a school teacher by trade, so I ask for lots of hand raising and participation, so be prepared. And I'll judge every single one of you who doesn't participate, just so you know. So if I say raise your hand and you don't participate, I'm totally going to judge you. So first and foremost, don't hate me. I took a bunch of notes so I would remember all the things I wanted to tell you guys, but it's September, right? It's back to school. Everyone's kind of getting back to a routine. Summer's over. We're all kind of getting back into regimen. If you've got kiddos, they're back in school. They're out of your hair, unless they're super teeny tiny. And for me, even though spring is typically the time of year where we talk about changes and a fresh start and all that kind of stuff, fall really feels like that for me. And maybe it's because I was a teacher my whole life, and so that back to school just feels fresh. It feels new. But it's really the perfect time to kind of restart your business, reset your goals. It's really a good time to change how you're doing things if you need to. So that's kind of where I want to go with all of this. So raise your hand real quick if at the end of every month you do something pretty crazy, like log into your cloud office and track your success based off of things like, I don't know, how much new volume you got, or how many people you enrolled, or did you turn all the bars green, or what rank did you hit, or is your check as good as it was the last time? Okay. So either some of you don't track anything or you're the people that don't participate. I can't decide. But if you are one of those people that goes in at the end of the month and essentially judges how you performed based off of all those things that our cloud provides for us, which is super cool, don't get me wrong. I love that we can track our new volume. I love that we can track our enrollments. I love that I can turn all the bars green and I can even compare, like, what was my rank last month to this month? What was my check last month to this month? That's cool. But it's really not fair to ourselves, and it's really not a good representation of whether or not we're actually doing the business, right? So if you're going to track your success and track your progress and essentially judge yourself based off of those numbers, I'm going to ask you, starting now and then continuing on for sure the rest of this year, I would like to see you commit to this. Instead of judging that, I would love you to set some goals and track based off of your actual activity. Because at the end of the day, you really can't control your new enrollments, right? You can't control whether or not someone is going to say yes to you. You can't control your new volume. You can't control the bars. You can't control your rank, especially when we reach some of the higher ranks where so much of what has to happen is not just your activity. Like, you literally don't have control over it. I wish that we did. My husband will tell you, I'm an incredible control freak. I wish I could control it. But we're not puppeteers. We can't control it. So I'm going to ask you to focus on the things that you can control, which are your personal activities. And so what those activities are really different for everybody. And we could have a whole Zoom on DMOs and things to do on social media, but I'm going to try and break it down into just a couple of really simple overall topics so that we're not on here all night. So let me make sure that everything on my first page, I did a good job. Oh, I forgot this one thing. Like, once we're going to go over some of these things that I think we can do all together, real general, I want you to promise yourself that you are going to make a contract with yourself. Like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm not breaking it, right? Like, sidebar real quick. I do this a lot too. Sorry. When I was a teacher, I managed child development centers for the entire state of Oregon. So I started out teaching 5th grade, then 3rd grade, then kindergarten, then I managed child development programs. So I had my own center, and then I oversaw a bunch of other centers as well. There were days in my job, y'all, and you know it's serious when I say y'all, that I had to pull Legos or Hot Wheel cars out of toilets. That was part of my job. There were days where I'd have 4 teachers with the flu, and in order to meet state ratio, the best way for me to do that and not lose my mind was for me to put the cook in the 2-year-old room. 2-year-olds are not my favorite, and then cook breakfast, snacks, and lunch for 250 kids in a sweaty kitchen, probably in my work dress clothes that I wore that day. There were days where I had to spend days and days and days and stay late after work to complete budget sheets. Well, I did all of that stuff because I had a contract. I had an employment contract. I had a supervisor who, if I didn't do those things, would fire me. So how many of you have a job or have ever had a job where you've had to do something that you didn't like to do, but you did it because you needed the freaking job? Hi, me, hello. Why don't we offer that same level of respect to ourselves in this job, right? It's so easy for us to dismiss what should be on our list because we don't really have a boss. So I'm going to ask you as we move through these things to think about that and make an employment contract with yourself because you deserve it. And ultimately, you have the ability to do way more for yourself financially, emotionally, spiritually, socially, physically, with this business than for sure by taking Legos out of a toilet. I promise you. So here are some things that you can actually set goals on and track, okay? So first and foremost, I'm going to challenge you to just we're going to keep it simple, but just starting the conversation. So make a contract with yourself, something that will meet the goals that you have, right? But that you can actually maintain, that you can do. Because the worst thing is to say, I'm going to talk to 20 new people every day, but then you really can't because you haven't reached that level of confidence yet, or it just doesn't fit into your day. And then you only talk to 3, and then you feel like a failure. So don't undershoot your goals because you're better than you think you are, I promise. But don't make them so big because you just want to be a badass today. Because if 4 days from now you can't keep up with it, it will change how you look at everything else. So set yourself a reasonable goal. So 3 is really good. I would love for nobody to choose less than 3. So you're going to start the conversation with 3 people every day. What that looks like to you is up to you. In my head, I instantaneously think social media just because that's an easy way to do it. So you're going to start the conversation with at least 3 people. 5 is great. 10 is excellent. I'm a 10 person a day girl, but I wasn't always. I haven't been always. I was in the beginning because I was super pumped up. Then I had some time where I was figuring out how to manage a team and that number went back down. And now I feel like I have a good balance on doing my own personal business and having a team. So I'm back up to 10, right? So 3 is good. 5 is great. 10 is excellent. But it can be any number that you want. I also would love you to track things like lifestyle marketing. Again, that could be a whole nother topic, a whole nother Zoom, so we're not going to go into it. I'm just going to give you a brief description. And again, in my head, I think social media, but this is also something that you do in real life with your family and friends when you're having conversations. Like, your life is good, your life is happy. Just like Chantel was saying whenever I hopped on, like, smile. Be happy. You are happy. You want people to want the life that you have, whether that's real life, out at the grocery store, picking up your kids from soccer camp or whatever. I guess that's probably not happening right now in September, but whatever the case may be, your lifestyle marketing can be you wearing your gear, happy as a clam out in public. It can be the things that you post on social media that has nothing to do with our actual products, but how incredible your lifestyle is because you're a part of this community. So, a real quick recent example from my own personal social media was just, I made a post the other day about how literally my life is a mess. I left the house. I love Align pants from Lululemon, but your dryer sheets will stick to them. And I did not realize that. And I went out in public and there was one stuck literally on my bottom. So, like, that was a part of my post. Like, listen, if I can do this, you can do it. Right? Or I like to share about the fact that I still haven't unpacked my suitcase from 2 weeks ago. However, I've got a really incredible business. Or I like to talk about just how blessed I am to be able to share experiences with my kiddos and my husband without having to say no, like that I get to say yes. So it really isn't a business pitch. It's not a join my team. It's not a sales pitch. It's just lifestyle marketing. So make a goal, like, how are you going to do that every day? How are you going to show up in that every day? Make at least one lifestyle. If you're using social media, please make at least one lifestyle post a day. Just something great about your life. That's as simple as it needs to be. So track that. Passing out sample packs and business cards. You guys, can you commit every day for the rest of this month? And then I'd like you to do it for the rest of the year, but can you commit to passing out one sample pack and or one business card? I know not everybody is in a place to give away 30 packs of Keto Max every month, and that's cool. I don't like to give away 30 packs of Max every month because I like my Keto Max. Actually, this is getting a little low. I can't wait for our sale shipments to arrive. But can you pass it out? Car pickup lines from your kiddos at school, when you go to pick your kiddos up from daycare, sports, just out running errands. My favorite, Jack and I love to talk to our waiters, and true story, we went to dinner last night. We took the kids to Melting Pot, so this is me being real with you all. I am not always prepared, and we took the kids to the Melting Pot last night, and I have a cute little purse for going out, and I just grabbed my wallet and my lip gloss and my phone and stuck it in there, and we went to dinner. And the man who was waiting on us literally gave us 42 reasons to hand him a pack of Keto Max and a business card, and I had neither of those things with me. So now I have to go back to the Melting Pot, which is such a shame, I know, but I'm going to go because it was and I'm going to request him, and we're going to go back and I'm going to give him all the things. So can you just keep something on you and intentionally, like, that was given to me, but can you intentionally find a way to pass out a sample pack or a business card or both every single day? Okay, so that's something you can track. And then here's the most important part of all three of those things. So I just gave you 3 easy things that you can do, right? Start the conversation with 3, 5, 10 people. Make some kind of attempt at lifestyle marketing. Count whatever you want to count, like what Chantel said. And I don't know if I'm saying your name right, I'm sorry. But what Chantel said, or like your lifestyle post on Facebook. She's like, no, you're not. You're screwing it up, but it's fine. So you can track that every day. Passing out sample packs, you can track that every day. But here's the most important thing. Track how many of those things do not turn into a sale. Track how many of those things do not turn into a customer. It's a little hard to do when you just make a lifestyle marketing post or you're wearing your shirt, but I'm talking specifically about the conversation starters or the passing out sample packs. And not because I want you to track negative things, but because every no gets you closer to a yes. So if you know your ratio at the end of this month, if you're like, okay, listen, I made 150 total reach outs. I don't really know how that works in the math. I guess that would be 5 reach outs a day. Look, I actually made sense without on purpose. That's amazing. I can't believe my brain did that. If you're like, I had 150 reach outs and 10 of them turned into 5 or 10 day experiences, customers or promoters, you know then what you have to do next month to double or triple your results, right? So if you really wanted 30 people to join you this month, you know that the next month you actually have to do 450 reach outs. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm asking you to track your no's, not because I want you to focus on the negative, but because I want you to know what your actual success ratio is, right? And every no gets you closer to a yes, and the more no's you get, the less you care about them. I promise. So it's also good for that. Couple more things, and I'm going to hand you back to Steve and Stephanie because I know you're probably sick of me. But I would also say that what you could do to make it even better is like, okay, I like to be super transparent, and sometimes it comes out weird, but hopefully it's good. How many of you have been on either side of this conversation? Either you have reached out to someone and said, I really need some help and mentorship in my business, or my business isn't really where I want it to be. What can I do? That's a better answer. My business isn't where I want it to be. What can I do? Have you asked that or been asked that? Okay, lots of hands getting raised. That's awesome. Thank you for participation. I appreciate it. So my business isn't where I want it to be. What can I do? Whenever somebody asks me that question, the very first thing I ask them is, well, I don't know. What are you already doing? Right? So this list of things that I'm asking you to set yourself some goals for and then track for the month is something you can actually bring to the person that you're working with and say, all right, Steve and Stephanie, here's the deal. I set this goal with myself. Here, I exceeded it in these 2 areas. I kind of fell short in these 3 in this area. This is what my results. What do you and say, what do I do? They don't know because they don't know what you already did. Is my internet connection unstable? It says it's bad. Okay, so that's number 1.
You're good. Mandy, you are crushing this.
Thank you. I'm all sweaty for some reason. Probably because I don't have a formal office and I use the room above the garage and it's literally a playroom. That's probably why I'm sweaty. So I don't really have an office. And then my other suggestion for this is that you are not in this alone, right? If there's something I've learned about our community, like that I could pass on to you, is that you're not in this alone. So you know who your business partners are, right? Like whether it's the people who brought you into the company, or whether it's the people who you've bonded with on your team, or whether it's people you've brought into your business, you have your business people. I will tell you that I have a handful of girls who I work really, really closely with, and we set our goals and we chat with each other. We check in with each other. Hey, this is what I did today. What are you doing today? What are you doing today? We hold each other accountable for it, right? So I would suggest that as well. Find 1 or 2 people that you really love working with. You both have the same goals, the same mission, and say, these are the goals I set for myself, and then challenge each other. And this is going to help you in a whole bunch of ways, but specifically, it will help you prevent that end of month hustle, right? So when we talk about setting the pace for your month, a lot of times it's like this. I got time. Oh, I got time. Oh, I got time. Oh, I should probably pick up the pace a little bit. Holy crap, we only have 3 days left, right? So setting these things early in the month, tracking them, don't get hung up on the results, right? Like don't get hung up on the number, the check, the rank, because you can't control that, but you can 100% control the activity that you do every single day. So that would be my biggest suggestion. And then just my last little thing is just to make sure you're in your correct mindset, right? Like, why did you show up? Why are you one of the 103 people who bothered to get on this Zoom tonight? Why did you join? Why are you taking notes right now? If you are, like, why did you show up? And keep that in the front of your head. Like, what do you want out of this? Like, that's something that our Orange Theory coach says all the time. Like, why did you come here at 5 o'clock this morning? Why on God's green earth did you do that? I don't know why you did it, but why did you? So that's a really great question to ask yourself at the beginning of every month. Why did I show up? And then I want you to have a game plan for how you're going to handle your emotions if you're behind or if you're ahead, right? If you're a little bit behind, what are you going to do? Do you pick up the pace? I compare it to Orange Theory all the time, even though I really hate working out. When I'm at Orange Theory, if I have a goal for what calorie burn I want at the end, like if it's halfway through the class and I am not halfway to that goal, I am like, well, crap, I guess I better take it up a gear on this bike, right? Like I better kick it up a gear. And also if I'm ahead of my goal halfway through, what do? Do I slack back off and go, oh, I got this, it's fine, I'm totally going to hit my goal? Or do I go, I wonder if I can actually make a record? So those are just my biggest suggestions. I hope that was helpful. Those are literally all the notes, and I'm super excited because I only looked at my sheet twice, which means, I have my stuff together. So hopefully that was helpful.
Mandy, are you kidding me? That was unbelievable. I'm getting text messages. I took a whole bunch of notes, like 4 of them. You want to know why you're sweaty? Is because you're bringing the heat. I'm not even kidding.
We loved it.
Like,
I think it's because this office is above the garage.
I loved it.
I'm still going with mine it's because you're bringing the heat. So starting conversations, lifestyle marketing, business or sample pack, track your nose, know your ratio. Are you kidding me? Like data drives decisions. You're speaking my love language. I absolutely love that. Having a correct mindset is everything. You know, what's so fascinating is for those of you who tune into the huddle calls, Mandy's actually, like, she's been absolutely crushing them. If you did not listen to Fridays, go back to the Pulse, okay? For those of you who are brand new, if you don't have the Pulse, go download the Pulse out of your app store. Go hop on Pulse, scroll down a little bit, and find Friday's call, because I know she talks about key limeade in there, but guess what? You apply that same search feature that she walked us through, and you apply it to the reboot, and you've got a whole new game. Go after the grays and green icons in your community. Like follow up, reach out to people. The tips that she gave on the call and the tips that she just gave you all, like that's why she's had her and Jack have had the success and the team that they have. That's the reason why they have the success that they have. So Mandy, thank you so much. Honestly, that was unbelievable. Whew. All right.
You make me feel real good. Steve, you have to be on all the Zooms I do all the time.
Hey, I'll commit to you what you commit to me. This is fun. Mandy, honestly, for those of you who may just be tuning in, I'm going to be posting the Zoom later on because what she just gave was solid gold. So I really hope that you took notes. I've got another really special guest that I'm excited to introduce to each and every one of you. You know what?
Michael Rutherford is
Why not
on the
make
call.
it Legend Night and just get a bunch of knowledge and just see what happens? Because guess what? September is just getting started and the best is yet to come. So if you all don't know who Michael Rutherford is, I don't know if that's anybody.
Everybody should
Pretty
know
sure
him.
everybody knows everybody knows who he is. But if you don't, we've known him for 3 years. He was the very first guy that I talked to on the telephone with him and Michael Beal. And you know what? He cared then, he cares now, and the dude's on a mission, and he's impacting probably millions of lives.
Right.
So I'm going to kick it over to the legend, Michael Rutherford.
Mandy just knocked out the just stuff to do this month to keep things tracked. And so we would love a gold nugget from you, whatever you've got.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
sir.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to be on. Nice to see you guys. It is September. It's the 2nd, baby. It's my birthday month. My birthday's next week. My son's birthday's Thursday. My birthday's Sunday. So it's a fun month around here. I think nice to see you, Mandy and Jack. There's a bunch of people on here. Happy Sunday evening. I'll just keep my piece really brief. It was funny. I got a video sent to me by a couple of the girls that actually might be on the Zoom. and they were with Brian Underwood in Atlanta a couple days ago. And he said, look, in all things that you do, be on the prowl, almost like a college high school recruiter, like an Army recruiter, like a gold prospector, like a hunter, like a fisherman. Be on the prowl, and you're looking for what would make a potential rock star prover. That's right, Steve, right here. What would potentially make a rock star prover? And then somebody was like, well, what are those qualities? Like, how do you spot a potential rock star prover? How do you spot a would-be Circle of Champions rank 6 or a pro champ rank 8 or 9 or 10 or legend? And there's 3 really simple, really fundamental characters or qualities that those people all possess. And I think everybody that you're going to hear on this call talk tonight are going to they have all those things. The first of which is, and you can write these down, the first of which is they have ambition and burning desire. And frankly, if they have ambition and burning desire, nothing else matters. If you have those things, you can't really coach people that have ambition. They either do or they don't. They're either their own motor or they're not. They're either ambitious, excited, fired up, dreamers who want to change their lives, or they are not. So how do you know who you have? Give them a challenge and see if they do it. Ambitious people show up. Non-ambitious people don't show up. So when you have somebody who's ambitious, they keep showing up. They do the things they say they're going to do. They come to events. So like burning desire is the first of which. The second of which is influence. Do people have influence? Do people know people? If they don't, who are they going to get samples to? If they don't, who are they going to have on their launch call? If they don't, who's going to come to their mixer? If they don't, who are they going to have, come to the mastermind? Who are they going to have come to the event? Who are they going to have give you their opinion? Who they have, if they don't have influence, who are they going to have as quote unquote their product taste testers? And then the third of which is if somebody doesn't have, or if somebody possesses this third, which is leadable, teachable, ability to be led, taught, and coached. Are they leadable, teachable, coachable? And if you have somebody who has ambition and knows lots of people, but they're not leadable, teachable, coachable, then those people, if they have ambition and they have a lot of influence, they know a lot of people, but they don't follow directions, they're not leadable, they're not teachable, they're not coachable, then you're going to have an uphill battle. How many of you know somebody like that on your team? And you can raise your hand. How many of you know somebody on your team that, gosh, if they would just do what you say, they would crush it? Or if they just followed directions, they would crush it? You know, how many of you have somebody that knows everybody in town, but yet for some reason they just don't have that burning desire? Or they've got all the talent in the world, but they're just not that hungry. They're content. You know, they're content with whatever it is that they're doing. So when you find those 3 things, burning desire and ambition, influence, and leadable, teachable, coachable, those are the 3 components, then you've got somebody that has the ingredients to really rock this. Then it's our job, Chantel, to give them MapQuest turn by turn by turn directions of what to do and how to do it, not leave it up to chance. So I just want you to kind of think through a little bit. What are things that you could do to determine in a day whether somebody has influence or not? What could you do in an hour of them enrolling as a customer to determine whether they have burning desire or not? What could you do instantly to determine if they're leadable, teachable, coachable? Think about this. Here's one thing that you could do. Give them a micro challenge to put a Facebook post up right now. And if they put oh man, that's awesome. I'm super happy that you're having a good experience, Misty. That's sweet. Quick question. Have you posted on Facebook to say that one thing that you've really liked about the product? Like world-class mental clarity and focus. Like, y'all, I'm just telling you, my kids went back to school today for the first time this year, and I haven't wanted to yell at anybody, and my mood is chill. Holy smokes, thanks for the ketones, Chantel. Like, whatever that she posts or whatever that they say, like, if you get somebody to post on Facebook right away, it shows you they're leadable, teachable, coachable. It shows that they have ambition, and guess what? If people like and comment, then they have influence. If they won't post, they either lacking leadable, teachable, coachable, or desire. And if nobody comments and nobody likes, they don't have any influence. So don't you want to know within an hour of them joining whether they have those 3 things or not? So just don't forget what business we're in. You own a company. It's your Prove It business. You're the CEO of the company. You're not just the distributor inside of Prove It. You're the CEO of your own life. And you're getting to staff your roster much like the coach of a college football team is staffing their roster, or the head pastor of a church is getting to staff the roster of the worship team or whatever it is, or the president gets to staff, the cabinet for that, for the entire United States government. You get to pick and choose who you want. So as you're going through that, go and build your own board of directors, so to speak, your own people that you want to find that have ambition, that have burning desire, that have influence. They know people, people know them, and they like them. When they invite people to a mixer, they show up. If somebody has a mixer at their house 3 days after they sign up because they've had an unbelievable product experience and no one shows, it might be indicative of their lack of influence in their community. Maybe. They might still know people. But like I could tell you, some of the people that got started here, when they called people, they answered. When they told them to try the product, they tried it. When they told them to watch the video, they watched it. So that's all I would say is, as you do everything, because everybody's doing it, their own way and following the system, but in all things, just be on the prowl for people that have ambition and burning desire, leadable, teachable, coachable, and influence. Does that make sense, Steve?
Love it.
Unbelievable.
No, I love it. And Brian said that same thing to us before, is just look for people who know people, right? And so I'll give you two things. Like, you look for everybody to try the product because the product is a game changer for anybody, right? People that that could do this, it's exactly what he said. We always tell people, hey, we give them the fast start link. Tell us 1 or 2 takeaways after you go look at that, right? But if they don't get back to me in a week or two, I'm not that I don't work with people, but if you've got somebody that you need to give directive coaching right away. And I always tell people, when you bring on a new promoter, don't you dare ever ask the question, let me know how I can help you. Ever. Like, you're their coach. You need to give directive. You need to give them the fast start link. You need to get them plugged in. You need to say, hey, here's an idea for a post. Who's one or two new people? And if they do all of those things, then it's exactly what Rutherford said. It's those people have a burning desire, and then you get them plugged in and you go, go, go. Now, if you've got somebody that doesn't do that, doesn't mean that you don't work with them, right? But you're going to go at their own pace, and you can't get mad. You can't try to pull them faster than they want to go. Remember, everybody has their own goals. Some people want free products. Some people want a couple $100. Some people want to make an income. When you know what that is, you know how to directly coach them.
I hope y'all feeling this. Like, I'm sweating because Mandy gave us some knowledge bombs. Like, she dropped the heat. Rutherford came on with 3 tips that could legitimately change your life, in the fact that you're a CEO of your life. You're picking your team, choose your people. And I can just tell Mike. It's Sunday night. It's 9:30 where we're at, coming up on 9:30.
I'm sweating.
Whew. She is hot. All right. I am super, super fired up because, we got a couple more days left of the reboot. I want to encourage you, go strong. Like, it is a powerful product, a powerful program.
It's kind of a business in itself.
Oh, I had 3 Ps. Powerful program.
I cut them off.
Powerful
Sorry.
Product. And another one.
It's my fault.
I had it. It was so good. But you know what? We'll have it for you next week. I promise. It was good. I had 3 Ps. But you know what? I'm super excited that each and every one of you plugged in, because you got exactly what you needed to hear tonight. Because everything that you heard, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, apply them to your business, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to grow. It's going to get bigger. You're going to reach more people. You're going to make a bigger ripple in your community. You're going to make a bigger ripple around the globe. And I just want to wrap up with this. 90% of life is showing up. Get to the event. Let's get resourceful. We still have some time. We still have some paychecks. Let's get there. Let's get resourceful as a team. So tonight we had an unbelievable Zoom. I mean, you want to talk about the power of community,
Steve's
global
got 6
perspective.
notes right here.
Whoo, goal setting. And I'm just going to repeat these real quick because these were honestly, this is really going to help me. Don't create a spreadsheet. I'm going to write it in a notebook, put it in your phone, put it on a piece of paper.
He's going to create something that you can check the boxes.
Super excited about
this. He'll get it to
Start the conversation, lifestyle marketing, business card or sample pack, at least 1 a day. Track your nose, know your ratio. And here's one thing I thought about that, Mandy, when you said that. What really hit me in my head and in my heart was that the more no's you get, I can promise you all this. When you get to 300, When you get to 300, you're going to be an unbelievable rock star at explaining the ketone conversation. You're going to be asking the same question. What do you know about ketones and ketosis? But you're going to have a really fast typing thumb to get the link to that person. But here's what's really cool is that you can do it.
No, Mandy, no spreadsheets. He meant he's going to create a fun PDF. So if people want to keep track of it visually, you can print it out, put it on your fridge. And then you can check the boxes. Check all the boxes.
Man, I'm making a
She's
spreadsheet.
like, no spreadsheet.
I
Okay,
need some
if you're not a
division.
spreadsheet person.
I need to know my ratio. That's what I'm saying. I need to know my ratio.
I'm like, how many people did I check? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Got it. I mean, so however you want to keep track, just keep track, right?
This note right here says, correct your mindset. And you know what? It's so true. Know your why. Know why you're going to get to 100 no's. Know why you're going to get to 300. Know your why and nothing will stop you. Rutherford came on here. Man, I'm just telling y'all, you are the CEO of your business. You are the CEO of your life. Find those people who are leadable, teachable, coachable, who have influence and ambition. And guess what? You can do whatever you want. Like,
yeah.
Go, go, go. You are a rhino. We believe in you. As a community, we are better together. I believe that everybody will be needed and known through Prove It. We're creating a massive ripple that goes across the globe. And so
go rock the reboot, get to the event, and I think that's it.
So thank you all for tuning in tonight. I'm going to post this later on.
We'll get you the replay for those who did not show up.
And you know what?
They don't get to hear the special stories beforehand. So
speaking of replay, go back to the Pulse and listen to Friday's call.
Yes.
And Mandy gave some unbelievable things that need to be in your DMO every single day. Like, work on those things and you will have a business that goes
like September
like
should be your biggest business. I'm assured that there's so many people that are going to do phenomenal. I love it.
We believe in you. Have a fantastic evening. Let us know if you need anything. Have a great night, y'all. The good news is you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.